is not going to suddenly change across the board. Our job is to be a good friend and to be frank with President Karzai in saying, here's where we think we've got to put more effort. President Karzai's job is to represent his country and insist that its sovereignty is properly respected, even as he goes about the hard task of bringing about these changes in both his government and his economy. And so I am very comfortable with the strong efforts that President Karzai has made thus far. And I think that we both agree that we're going to have to make more efforts in the future. And there are going to be setbacks. There are going to be times where our governments disagree on a particular tactic. But what I'm very confident about is that we share a broad strategy, one that I hope we can memorialize in a declaration by the end of this year.
Well, sir, the relationship between Afghanistan and the United States is now into its 10th year in the form that it has since September 11, 2001. It's not an imaginary relationship. It's a real relationship. It's based on some very hard and difficult realities. We are in a campaign against terrorism together. There are days that we are happy. There are days that we are not happy. It's a mutual relationship towards a common objective. And definitely days have come in which we've had difference of opinion. And definitely days in the future will come in which we have difference of opinion. But the relationship between the two governments and the two nations is strong and well-rooted and has endured the past 10 years of extreme activity on both sides. So I believe what you saw in the past few months is reflective of a deep and strong relationship. And in that sort of relationship, as President Obama rightly described, there are moments that we speak frankly to each other, and that frankness will only add to the strength of the relationship and contribute to the successes that we have. The bottom line is that we are much more strongly related to each other today than we ever were before in this relationship, and that is a good message that I will take back to the Afghan people the day after tomorrow. We'll give a chance.
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you very much, Mr. President, to give us a chance. There is a lot of issue in Afghanistan, as long as I remember. First of all, I'm sorry, I should introduce myself. My name is Nazira Azim Karimi. I'm correspondent for Ariana Television from Afghanistan. Today, I'm not talking about as a journalist, as a woman in Afghanistan. As long as I remember, regarding Afghanistan situation, the only reason that Afghanistan is not stabilized, Pakistan. You mentioned President Obama about Pakistan. Pakistan has two phases regarding Afghanistan. That's why all the time we have problem. Pakistan government is not really honest regarding Afghanistan. I need your answer. What is the new policy of United States to solve this problem? And next question from President Karzai. I want to ask him my question in Dari, and I want to answer it in Dari too. در مورد کشتار افراد ملکی در افغانستان کدام دسیژن یا تصمیم نو گرفتین؟ شما اشاره کردین به عساکر امریکایی که اونا زخمیایشان دیدن کردین. واقعا عاطفی است. ما در افغانستان هر روز کشتار میتیم.
All right, so you're hearing the news conference right now between President Obama and Afghan President Hamid Karzai. Let's see if Hamid Karzai translates that question.
Yeah, civilian casualty.
President Karzai and I have, in the past, met with Pakistan's President Zardari, as well as their intelligence officers, their military, their teams, and emphasized to Pakistan the fact that our security is intertwined. I think there has been, in the past, a view on the part of Pakistan that their primary rival, India, was their only concern. I think what you've seen over the last several months is a growing recognition that they have a cancer in their midst, that the extremist organizations that have been allowed to congregate and use as a base the frontier areas to then go into Afghanistan, that now threatens Pakistan's sovereignty. Our goal is to break down some of the old suspicions and the old bad habits and continue to work with the Pakistani government to see their interest in a stable Afghanistan, which is free from foreign meddling, and that Afghanistan, Pakistan, the United States, the international community should all be working to reduce the influence of extremists in those regions. And I am actually encouraged by what I've seen from the Pakistani government over the last several months. But just as it's going to take some time for Afghanistan's economy, for example, to fully recover from 30 years of war, it's going to take some time for Pakistan, even where there is a will, to find a way in order to effectively deal with these extremists in areas that are fairly loosely governed from Islamabad. You know, part of what I've been encouraged by is Pakistan's willingness to start asserting more control over some of these areas. But it's not going to happen overnight. You know, they have been taking enormous casualties. The Pakistani military has been going in fairly aggressively. But this will be an ongoing project. And President Karzai and I both discussed the fact that the only way, ultimately, that Pakistan is secure is if Afghanistan is secure. And the only way that Afghanistan is secure is if the sovereignty, the territorial integrity, the Afghan constitution, the Afghan people are respected by their neighbors. We think that that message is starting to get through, but it's one that we have to continue to promote.
Ma'am, we did discuss civilian casualties, the protection of civilians. I must report to you, ma'am, that since the arrival of General McChrystal in Afghanistan, there has been considerable progress achieved in this regard. There is very open and frank attitude about that now. The President expressed in fundamentally human terms his concern about civilian casualties, not only as a political issue, but as a human issue that President Obama remarked about, to which I have my respects to the President on this issue. We not only discussed the ways and means of how to reduce civilian casualties, rather not have them at all. Night raids were discussed and detentions were discussed. The way I made a remark about it in my opening remarks, and you will see the agreements between us on this reflected in the joint communique that I hope is coming up or is already issued.